This is part 2 of the dose assignment for the radiobiology course, and we are going to review over questions number 5 through 8. Let me remind us of the original technical factors that we were using for this satisfactory radiograph. The assignment called for 300 MA at 20 milliseconds, 90 kVp. We had 182 centimeters of source image distance, 20 centimeters of object image distance, 1 millimeter focal spot size. The image used an 8:1 grid, 200 image receptor speed, and no pathological conditions. Now, question 5 asks, and I'm reading again from the assignment, and I hope you guys are following along. What grid changes could be made based on the technical factor listed in the situation to reduce exposure to the patient? So once again, they're referring back to the original satisfactory radiograph, and they're asking what grid changes could be made. So if you look back at the original, the grid we used was 8:1. This question is asking for you to be able to identify the relationship between using grids and the exposure to the patient. And the resources that you have available to review over this topic would be your Carlton and Adler book. It would be in the chapter under the prime factors or in reduction of patient exposures for technical factors. You will also be able to find this information in the Stuart Bouchon's textbook. And you should also be able to find quite a bit of information with the assignment links. So again, you want to search for what is the relationship between grids and exposure to the patients. Number 6, what image receptor speed, IRS, changes could be made based on the technical factors listed in the situation in order to reduce exposure to the patient? So this question is asking you now, instead of the grids, is asking you about the relationship of image receptor speeds and the exposure factor. The prime factors in radiographic technical factors or techniques include not only kVp, not only MA or milliamperage, not only time, but it also includes the type of grid you use, the type of image receptor you have, even the type of film you have in terms of the film sensitivity. So number 6 is asking you, do you know the relationship between image receptor speed and exposure rate? Please show your calculations and explain how you know that what this relationship is all about. Question item number 7 asks you to calculate the technical factors based on the kVp listed in the situation that would increase image quality, increase patient dose, and maintain image density. Now, if we look back at our satisfactory radiograph, and we know that it was satisfactory, so, we really don't have to make any changes. However, what they're asking us to look at is if we can reduce some of the exposure to the patient. So based on our kilovoltage value, which is at 90 kVp, what can you do that will increase your image quality? So you need to know the relationship between kVp and its effect on image quality. How do you increase your patient dose, which we never really want, but what's going to happen is as we try to improve our image quality, we may have an effect on our dose. So you need to know that relationship. At the same time, we don't want to change our image that we had. It was fine, it was satisfactory. So we need to maintain that density, even though we're trying to change the image quality and also have an effect on the dose to the patient. So you need to know all those relationships, and there's 3. Again, it is the relationship of kVp to image quality, the relationship of whatever technical factors you're going to change to, and how does it, if it does, increase patient dose. And last, you need to know whatever technical factor you choose to compensate with, will it maintain the image density? So you need to know that relationship. And lastly, question number 8 asks us to list 3 examinations that deliver a relatively high exposure to the gonads and describe steps that you can take to minimize this exposure. So again, if you're looking at certain image procedures that's going to give a direct exposure to a patient's very sensitive area, reproductive area, is there anything else you can do if you cannot provide them a lead shield? What other things can you do? And again, the whole purpose of this exercise is to look at how the prime factors, technical factors, and their interrelationship on reducing patient exposure. So some of your steps should be about, as a technologist, how do I manipulate my technical factors? If you have any further questions, please send me an email. But again, I urge you to take advantage of the preview assignment. I will look over each question, and I can identify areas where you might be, reversing your relationships, or you have the wrong technical factor that you want to utilize. And we'll talk about that and how, to find the actual answers through the resources that you have. Resources being your Carlton Outler textbook, your Stewart-Bushong's textbook, and the assignment links that's located in the file. It was a pleasure. And again, if you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact me.